Greetings. I'm here with Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian at the Fifth International Vatican Scientific Conference. Welcome, Dr. Mozaffarian. Uh, let's start out with many of the scientific conferences that we all go to tend to be relatively one-dimensional. They're focused on one disease or one organ system or whatever. What do you feel is the value of this kind of interdisciplinary conference?
Well, I think the value of the Vatican Conference, is both its interdisciplinary approach around science, but also its intersection with faith. What we've learned from COVID-19 is that science is central to human survival. And yet, I think for many people, many average people who aren't scientists, science seems like some distant, foreign, crazy thing that they don't understand or don't need to understand. And again, COVID-19 has shown us that science is pretty darn important. And so having an incredible organization like the Vatican bring together, scientists, multiple disciplines, the public, faith-based organizations to talk about the scientific issues facing our world couldn't be more important.
Not just science, but then all the social issues and how they interact, right?
Absolutely. Science is just, humans trying to understand how to get along in the world. That's really what science is. And so it relates to our social lives, our cultural lives, our lives themselves, as we've learned, survival of the planet itself.
A lot of people have said that our food system is broken. It was designed to prevent famine early on, I guess, and I guess we've been relatively successful at that. But tell me, why do you think it's broken, and is there any way that we can fix it?
Well, in the 1950s, there was a prediction that 1 billion people might starve in the next 100 years if we didn't increase production. And so there was a huge effort to increase production of starchy, shelf-stable, inexpensive calories that were fortified with a handful of vitamins. And we were very successful. We achieved our goals. We prevented mass starvation. In fact, frank hunger, while still devastating many communities, has gone way, way down in the last 100 years around the world. And at the same time, what we didn't recognize is that this food system is terrible for general human health. While it prevents starvation, it's terrible for risk of obesity, diabetes, cancers, cardiovascular diseases that are now plaguing the planet. We have a second pandemic, a slow pandemic of obesity and type 2 diabetes that's no less devastating and maybe more devastating than the COVID-19 pandemic. And so the food system is broken because it's a legacy system which is achieving its original goal, but is making us sick. The food we eat, most of it is actually making us sick. And so the fact that we're spending enormous amounts of human and other capital to produce and grow food that's making us sick on the back end and harming our planet is by definition a broken economic system.
It sounds like to fix it will require policy changes. Is that right? And how do we implement that?
Well, it will change by itself eventually because it has to. If it doesn't, we're not going to survive. We're going to be toast. We're all going to be sick. The planet's going to be toast. So I think that policy change is really important to speed up and guide this. The private sector is important. The civil society is important. Everybody has to work together. But governments have a crucial role because governments are there to level the playing field, to guide, to incentivize, use carrots and sticks to help business innovation move forward. We need governments to pay for scientific innovation that businesses aren't going to pay for by themselves. We need government to set in place good policies to protect the vulnerable in our population while all these changes are going on. We need governments to incentivize businesses to do the right thing and to punish them when they do the wrong thing. And we need the public to push governments to do this because, after all, the governments are here to serve the public.
You're hopeful about this?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic because, there's greater recognition and faster recognition of the challenges than ever before. The United Nations in September of this year is going to be hosting its first ever Food Systems Summit with the General Assembly to talk about food systems. So I'm hopeful, I'm cautiously optimistic, but we're not going to solve today's problems with yesterday's solutions or even with today's solutions. So we really need innovation in science, innovation in policy, and we need to bring together all the different disciplines of science, all the different sectors of society, as we're doing in this Vatican conference, to help fix our food system.
Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian, thank you. Thank you for your time and your insights.
Pleasure to be here.